as said, moving forward, I think we can go right into the draft here.
Yeah, sounds good. We're going to do just that, switching over to our draft screen. Glaurung just blowing me up right now. Okay, so looking at the draft, we actually do, in fact, have our bans. It's going to be a ban on Arthas and a ban on Thrall coming out here from Vivid Gaming.
Huh. I can understand. Yeah, Arthas, I mean, we had talked about this before. We're going to see Arthas and Stitches. Those two will be banned very, very frequently. Ban on Thrall, I think this kind of comes down to, they saw McIntyre's play, and while it wasn't necessarily the best game to draw conclusions from play, they can see very clearly that there is a strong Thrall player on the other side, and I think they banned out Zeratul previously, so if they say, hey, this guy's obviously quite strong in this hero, then, just ban him out. That said, I want to say it was kind of a mistake to not ban out Stitches in that sense, because essentially if you start out the pick ban process, if you're going first and you ban out Arthas, if the other team doesn't ban Stitches, it's almost a guaranteed Stitches pickup.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you're going to be sort of left with taking one of the lower tier warrior heroes. If you so choose to even run a warrior at that point, your options are somewhat limited. Now, we did see Muradin and Diablo picked up in that previous game, but they're going to have to go back to one of those two if they want to run a warrior.
It's really smart to, like you said, first pick to just ban Arthas, pick up that other tank. If it's not banned out, it's such a good play. Stitch is going to be a very common first pick in this tournament. Brightwing, Vala, like you said, those two heroes. Brightwing really just considered to be probably the best healer in the game right now. And Vala, with Tychus not in this tournament, she's a clear pick. Falstad's a little bit different. Tychus not in this tournament. Vala's going to be great, but then Cass and Falstad are still very good, so we see them picked up as well. And then we're seeing Muradin once again.
Yep. I mean, yeah, like we were saying, that they're sort of left with limited options here. It's hard to say what kind of an impact he had on the last game. Obviously, he was out for a good chunk of the levels before 10, but yeah, I'll have to see what kind of magic they can work with him this game here. All right, so I'm going to update my list here.
Okay, we're seeing Kerrigan as the last pick here. And just looking at the rosters, we're actually seeing... So we have the Stitches Zeratul, that's very strong. And then Falstad, Tassadar, Uther.
Yep.
I like Barrowboy's comp. On the other half, Brightwing, Vala, Muradin, Hammer once again. Now it is Dragonshire again.
One more time,
But they're throwing in, instead of the Diablo, it's going to be Kerrigan this time, giving a lot of control on the battlefield, pull people in, have the interruption. Kind of surprised we're not seeing any Nazebo.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. And I thought of that just after the draft happened last time. Yeah, no Nazebo. Nazebo is still very, very strong. I mean... You could argue that Falstad's new Heroic and the Sundering on Thrall, they're semi-good counters for it. So, not too surprising, but I would expect to see more Nazebo. Maybe just neither of these teams have particularly strong Nazebo players, but we'll have to see how that goes moving forward. Now, the Kerrigan pick, I think that's sort of a direct replacement for Thrall at this point.
It's flip sides, though.
Oh, yeah, a good point. I didn't see that. So, but yeah. Okay. I like it, though. Kerrigan's still obviously very strong. And maybe we'll even get to see Ultralisk. How do you feel about that?
You know what? Ultralisk actually did receive a buff. I'm glad you brought that up. Ultralisk is now controllable more like Laser Drill than Water Elemental because you can't fully micro it, but you can choose a target. Right. So the previous iteration of the Ultralisk would actually just kind of run off and fight the closest thing to it, more or less. So if it found a minion that it just hated in particular, it would fight that minion. But as it stands, it's the new version of the Ultralisk. You can actually kind of control who it's going after. When I say kind of, you can totally control who it's going after, and it's going to to see. And wow, that game loaded so quickly. I think computer issues have been solved.
Yeah, so let's hope so. Let's hope we have those sorted out. So let's just jump right into the introductions here for Barrel Boys. On the blue side, we have McIntyre playing Zeratul. Curse Fairy is going to be on Stitches. Blinks on Uther. Base Drop Blue playing Tassadar this game. And Trummel on Falstad.
And just finding that one spot in the wall where they can bug out and just doing it as a team, I like it. On the other half of the map, we see the Monkey Brightwing once again, played by Lex Uther. And then we have, of course, the team, which is all cluttered and on top of each other. It's hard to read.
Megan, this is so hard for you.
Kerrigan, Ivy Slime playing Hammer once again. Ego is going to be on Vala this game. And Daihu will be playing a Muradin. We'll see what the teams have in store for us. But
we'll have to see what kind of compositions they're going to be running. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these talents. Actually, so Curse Fairy is going to be running the Chew Your Food which is going to be extra health on the Devour ability, and I would imagine at level 4 he's probably going to run the Amplified Healing as well. That just sort of makes him even more of a tank than you're used to seeing. And look at this 4-lane mid here, very unusual. Normally we'll see them, front load the bottom lane here, for a 3 up lane there, but we're seeing a bit of a rotation here. I imagine they'll rotate down, but
yeah, they're not even soaking bottom, which is kind of weird. Not really much of an disparity in the experience, and they get there in time to soak up all the minions.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting stuff there. Now McIntyre just kind of looking for that Brightwing. There was in fact another change to the cloaking in this game, where to go back into cloak it used to take 2 seconds. It now takes 3 seconds. So that's kind of a nerf on just Zeratul, and I guess Shadowstalk as a whole is a nerf on that. Zeratul, Nova, and
I was like, oh, you're not mentioning Nova's because she's not a hero anymore, or
she's actually just.
She did. Yeah, she also did receive a number of nerfs this previous patch as well. Oh, a pretty nice hook onto Wilted.
Wilted is in a bad spot here, and he's very likely going to fall. And yes, he does in fact go down. You can see that circle around Fallside. That's the change on his W, where it's actually targetable to some extent now.
Yeah, I was actually just going to bring up, that's actually the only reason he died, is because of the change to that ability. Normally with the Thunderstorm, it'll pick sort of random targets previously within that range. Prioritizing heroes, but there were other heroes in the range, so it could have chosen to hit another one, and that is going to be a 1 minute and 40-second Dragon Knight.
Wow, that might actually be the earliest Dragon Knight I've seen in a competitive match, period. We've seen 2 minutes, we've seen 155, but like in the 140s, that's actually
new record.
It might be, my friend. It's not a good sign for this match here, but far from over.
Yeah, so that's the scaling on the health. You can even see its health bar. It's little bars there. Normally you can't even see that, so it is going to die quite quickly to the tower. So I would guess this is just going to serve to be just a better pushing tool, really. They have to wait for the creeps there to soak up even the damage, and you can just see how quickly its health is dying. So yeah, they got 1.5 towers out of it. Not the craziest thing. If they can pick up a kill, that'd be awesome here.
Oh, but Lynx is getting pretty low. He's falling back. He has to use pretty much everything to heal there. Throwing down the Healing Ward. That came from Tassadar. Healing Ward actually has gone back to its original iteration where it no longer is hit by just every single AoE in the game. So the multi-shot from Vala, the Psy Storm, that's not going to remove the Healing Ward. You have to auto-attack it, and then some single target abilities can destroy it as well.
Let's talk about some of the level 4 talents that have brought up. In specifics, I want to talk about Vivid. They did decide to run Double Envenom on Brightwing. Kerrigan, it's very normal to see that, but on Brightwing, not so much.
It's pretty rare. It's kind of like a controversial topic. A lot of people will tell you that it's just flat out not worth getting compared to Protective Shield because Brightwing doesn't really have a lot of healing other than her pulse.
Right.
So until you get either Gust of Winds or Regenerative Rain, it's actually she kind of relies on having that. But yeah, Ivy Slime does barely get out of there.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice hook there from Curse Fury.
But he did have the support from Kerrigan throwing down the stuns just to help zone if needed. So nicely done. But back on the point of just Envenom, they're looking for that extra burst.
Yep.
And it's gonna we'll see if it pays off. But their actual sustain in the early game is very low.
Right, yeah, so, I mean, considering that is the only healer once again, so we are basically just looking at, extra block hits on the Pixie Dust, and then normally you would be seeing Protective Shield at this point in the game. So you're absolutely right in saying that there is going to be a lack of healing up until this point. There is no healing ward or anything of that sort available for this team. So they're going to have to be careful. They're going to have to pick and choose their fights, know that they have a situation where they can basically blow up one of the members of Barrel Boys very quickly, because if the fight lasts anything more than, let's say 5 seconds, I can guarantee you that Uther's going to be out healing Brightwing in that sense. So
yeah. So Gust of Healing does help quite a bit. It gives a lot more, burst healing. We see Brightwing coming in now. This could be in time. He gets in just as Wilted falls. So he's able to get there to, help keep this push kind of at bay. But the hook there going on Ivy Slime is not going to help one bit. We see the Envenoms going down. We see the rotation from Ego. Is it enough to force them back? It is here, but do they get a kill?
Wow, yes, this rotation is proving to be very, very fruitful there. They get a pickup on Stitches, Trummel into a bit of a rocky situation as well.
Yeah, so that new Dwarf Toss actually got into play a little bit there.
Let's talk. So there was originally 8 range on it. It is now buffed up to 10, I believe.
Yep.
Which probably puts it to about where it was talented before at level 13 or 16, I forget which, excuse me. But one of the talents at those levels allowed you to upgrade the range. I think it still exists, but basically you have now a base upgraded range on that, which can allow you to get chases, like we saw exactly right there, allow them to pick up a kill, and sort of close up that level gap a little bit more. We do see about a 1 level lead for Barrel Boys as they're rotating into level 10 here. That is going to allow them to pick up their heroics a good bit faster, and they can take very commanding team fights for this time. I would imagine we'll see Vivid Gaming sort of fall back a little bit, just continue to soak. They have to play very passively until they reach level 10 themselves.
So Daihu is actually just kind of coming up in here. He is the tank. He's in the front line. He actually dodges the Singularity Spike. And this is kind of a big point of contention because if they lose this Shrine, well, that's 2 Shrines available for Barrel Boys.
No.
With the rotation from Blinks, Daihu's in a terrible position. We see the Divine Storm going down, but he is in fact murdered, and he can sustain a decent amount of damage, just kind of live through it.
Actually, maybe a bit of a misplay there on Bastrap's part. He was, soaking up on that Shrine. I think if he had rotated over as soon as he saw that Divine Storm go down, they probably could have picked up the kill on Daihu there. Not a big deal. They do have control of the top Shrine now. And it looks as though they picked up another kill bottom lane here.
Yep, that was
they should be able to secure both Shrines.
That was a Gorge, so it was a Hook Gorge, I would assume. They pick up that kill. That's going to give Barrel Boys, of course, this bottom Shrine. And we see this rotation in the middle. They're going to try to stall the Dragon Knight out. They don't want to give the Dragon Knight. Of course, that 6 minutes versus a minute's 40, the Dragon Knight hits a little bit harder.
Yeah, it does. Of course, the Dragon Knight does scale considerably in HP and attack damage. As the game goes on, of course. So you can see that they are very weary about allowing Barrel Boys to pick up this curse.
So I want to talk about something really quick.
Yeah.
Bribe stacks. Brightwing hasn't actually used Bribe yet. Falstad has bribed the Giant Camps, respectively, 1 time each, and Brightwing has not actually been able to use her bribes whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's actually something to point out, because that's a wasted...
Yeah, she is sitting at 50 bribe stacks right now. So any creep kills that she witnesses at this point will just be wasted in sense of bribe. But so we may see them. Looks like they're going to. I don't know if they're going to use the bribe stacks. Yeah, they are. Okay.
Here's an opportunity. There they go. Nicely done. So bottom Shrine is in fact being taken by Barrel Boys. Top Shrine still being held by them. They do have the Knights pushing there. We have all 5 members here of Vivid Gaming in the middle lane. Nice
dodge there with the dimensional shift to avoid that stun. That could have been a bit of trouble for Tassadar.
Ooh, Slime gets hooked immediately, just kind of boosted back. Now we see the Emerald Wind being used with the hook in from Kerrigan and the Envenoms, but the Archon able to sustain through that. Divine Storm goes down to Daihu, needs a Dwarf Toss on out. He does. Strafe is down. The Gorge spits out Kerrigan. Kerrigan's going to fall. Hook shock and all actually gets the Murden. Slime is in a really bad spot here as well. He's going to try to back on up, and he's going to be able to do that. Hook is still on a cooldown, but this Dragon Knight here for Barrel Boys. Yeah, there was actually very, very well coordinated heroics there. The Gorge hit its mark, grabbed Kerrigan, was able to pick up that kill there, and we saw a very nice Hinterland's Blast to clean up the rest of that fight. Excellent job there from Barrel Boys. They were able to line all their hooks together. Really, really nice hook there from Curse Fury. Lex, Uther just getting hooked on in and then just deleted by McIntyre. Dragon Knight still pushing away. Slime and Ego, can they hold this down for the time being? Looks like the fort's actually going to live as the Dragon Knights are taking down to the bottom lane, but 2-level lead and talent advantage.
Yeah, they have their healers down for Vivid Gaming. I imagine that they will be able to push in here, easily take this fort. There's very little that Vivid Gaming can do here until that Shrine is up. A pretty nice hook, but no follow-up. Yeah, so this fort, it looks like it's going to be falling. Brightwing is space shifting in. Kerrigan moving on forward, but as the Dragon explode, it disengages there. And nicely done from Tassadar, just going into Dimensional Shift, dodging out the combo from Kerrigan. Right. Let's, I guess we get a little bit of a chance to talk about some of the heroics. Actually, the one I really want to bring up is Strafe. Do you think it was a good call on the Ball's part to grab Strafe this game?
Looking at the compositions, I mean, they have Emerald Wind as a hard disengage, and I think Strafe kind of pairs well with Emerald Wind. Oh, the Gorge there, base drop. Is he going to die? Oh, Kerrigan does get a combo, and Dwarf Toss is available, so okay, no one dies. No one dies. But with Emerald Wind, I actually like Strafe a lot, because Emerald Wind kind of puts them in a position where Strafe's getting guaranteed value. Okay. So I think that is a good choice there. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was a bit of a risky play, considering that the Stitches could have gone Big Slam into Tenderizer. I'm not Tenderizer, excuse me. Pulverize at level 16. That could be a problem. Also, you have to consider Uther with Divine Storm and the Hammer of Justice. Maybe a bit of a risky play, so we'll have to sort of keep an eye on that, because that's going to be one of the big damage dealers in terms of AoE for Vivid Gaming as these fights develop. And if that Strafe gets canceled out very early, that's going to spell big, problems for Vivid. Yeah, as right as you are, Strafe is often used kind of like Ravenous, where you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and then you use it, to kind of clean up a fight. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out, like you said. But I like the call personally. Now we actually see Barrel Boys continuing to be on the aggression here, just constantly on the offensive, pushing down to this bottom lane.
Yep.
The hook goes out, nothing there. Bribe being used once again, Trumbull being very proactive with bribing, and they're just going to be able to push with Knights and offensive Giants.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice push they have going here. Basically, they're going to sit back and they're going to play a little bit passively, but they're just trying to make sure that they can get as much value as possible out of these Bribe Giants. They're just going to try and take some picks with hooks, as you can see there, and as soon as they see too much trouble, they're going to back up like we see exactly here.
Avatar being used, they're going in right away. Void Prism goes down as well. Maelstrom from Kerrigan. Shockanaut goes down, hitting 3 targets. Nicely done. We have everyone very low strafe used at that last possible second, getting a lot of damage done, but still they lost one member.
Yeah.
And Barrel Boys did what they wanted. They got the wall down. They got one member killed, and nicely done.
Yeah, well, once again, with the Void Prison sort of locking some of the members out. As soon as I was out, we saw a really, really nice Hinterland blast once again. So props to Trumbull, who's been landing a ton of those this game.
Scooby is smirking at me so hard right now because I just cannot remember the name for the life of me. Now, Zeratul in the backline going on Slime Sun, taking a lot of damage. He's actually boosted, but getting body blocked by his own teammate. He's super low at this point in time. We see the hook, and it is true! He doesn't even need to gorge. It's just kind of like that, I'm going to kill you in my belly. Oh. That was disgusting.
He threaded the needle with that hook. That was incredible. It was like it just clipped around 2 other heroes to grab him.
He's going again. We see the fishing hook getting a lot of work done in this match. Bottom lane is, in fact, open for business, and the Dragon Knight's going to walk right on down.
Yeah, so you guys can see that range has been upgraded at level 16 for Stitches. Obviously a very strong talent choice, especially when they're not going a slam build. That tends to be the talent of choice, and you can see he is landing a ton of hooks.
Oh, Taihu is taking so much damage, and the Divine Storm actually gets the kill. Link's just going into the back line. This keep is going to be falling in just a moment here. Strafe did a lot of work, but it doesn't even matter. Look at the value coming out of that healing totem. And the hook there, followed by the stun from...
Has he missed a hook?
I don't know. I don't think he has.
I mean, really, he just lands, and they're all great targets, too. Like,
yeah. He gets a few burdens.
Yeah,
it's
but...
like... It's working out for him.
I mean, they have every reason to end the game here. They have plenty of damage output. Wow, that's actually really, really nice.
Oh, my God.
Void Prison there.
Just so it doesn't hit the core. Hinterland's blast goes down.
I saw you hesitate there. I was like, it's going to get it this time. I know it. I got faith in him. Very, very well played 2 Barrel Boys there. They capitalized on the advantage early game, and they just rode it all the way through. Everything was really well coordinated in terms of their heroics. We didn't see a single misplay. Obviously, with Void Prison, there's the potential to have overlapping heroics there. We didn't see that a single bit.
No.
We saw tons of great hooks landed that were able to isolate targets and get kills. And that's what you got to play to that strength. You have a pick comp, and they executed that perfectly. So props to them. They looked real solid. So we'll have to keep an eye on them moving forward.
There was no disconnect that game, and it was still a 12-minute victory. Barrel Boys kind of declared their dominance and said, look, you might have had a disconnect, but we're just going to say, no, we can actually still beat you in 12 minutes. So well played by them. They that salty run back denied, and actually the salt has to be real at that point. So Vivid, thanks for playing. They're going to be knocked out of our event here. 2-0 in victory here for Barrel Boys. And just going to switch on over to look at our bracket.
Of course, this is a single limb bracket, so hopefully we'll see Vivid Gaming in future events, but that will put them out of the tournament moving forward. We have Barrel Boys. And I can actually check the bracket for you, Jake, to see if there's any updates. I don't know if there are. There are none.
0. That was a pretty.
That was a fairly quick series there. So
Barrel Boys will be advancing on to round 2 here of Kings of the Storm, weekly number 8. Guys, we're going to throw to a commercial break, figure out what we have going next. If we can hop into a game 3 or something of a series, we'll do that because that was a pretty darn short series.
Yeah, it was.
But we'll let you know what we're doing next, and we'll be back as soon as possible. Stay tuned.